Mary Louise Williams was a petite lady with silver hair and a wrinkled face, and she always wore her pearls and a brooch. And Mary Louise Williams was 78 years of age when she decided it was time to learn to play the piano. And that was how I met her. I was her piano teacher. Once a week, I traveled to her house. We started at middle C. We worked our way up the keyboard and down the keyboard. She learned to read music. She practiced. And she made great progress. Mary Louise Williams was also a daughter of the American Revolution. Her house was like a museum of American history with antiques and memorabilia all over. And after a while, she began to treat me a little like the daughter she never had. And I would stay after her lessons for a little bit and visit. And then one day, she said she had something for me. And she motioned for me to follow her into the kitchen. And then with a grandiose gesture, she pointed to a little mason jar on the counter, half filled with a pasty substance. It was sourdough starter. She had received it from her mother on her wedding day, who had gotten it from her mother on her wedding day. And in this way, it had been passed on since the documented blossoming of their family tree back in the days of the American Revolution. And now she was bestowing a portion of it on me, along with the family's secret recipe for Sunday morning sourdough biscuits, confident that not only would I nurture and preserve this living entity, but also her tradition of Sunday morning sourdough biscuits. Well, this thought was a little bizarre. and I did some quick math. Oh, it had been over 200 years since the American Revolution time. It's 52 Sundays in a year, and that would be over 10,000 consecutive Sundays of Sunday morning sourdough biscuits. And this thought was so alarming that it produced an emergency reaction from my brain, which had suddenly grown a voice that was shouting at me from inside my head, "No! Don't take it!" I knew that voice was right. Me and that sourdough starter were not a match. I mean, I'm not a reliable consumer. I'd just as soon have leftover pizza as Rice Krispies in the morning. The only thing I make with regularity is coffee. And that's an addiction. And the voice shouted, "Say no, thank you." Oh, but I have always had a problem with those words. I can say I'm fine when they're attached to a simple amenity. Would you like some water? No, thank you. Would you like to sit? No, thank you. But when they're attached to something that requires responsibility and effort and time, they seem to disappear from my vocabulary. And even as the voice was pleading, "Say no, thank you," the words that came out of my mouth were, "Oh, Miss Williams. That is so nice of you. Thank you so much." And between me and the creature in the jar. Departed from my next student. Well, it was August in Florida. It was about a zillion degrees, and I was traveling in my dark green, unair-conditioned Volkswagen bus. And I took the sourdough starter and I put it on the passenger seat. And I taught my next student. And when I returned to my vehicle, the sourdough starter had started. It had lifted up the top of the mason jar. It had gray tentacles that reached out of the jar and onto the seat. And I cleaned it up as best as I could with some of those teensy tiny tissues that come in those purse-sized packets. And then I took the jar, and making sure nobody was watching, I dumped some of it out along the curb, and the voice said, "Dump it all! Get rid of it now! Don't be a chicken!" But how could I fail in my custodial responsibility within the first hour? So I brought it home and I put it on the counter to be dealt with later. Later turned into the next day. And when I went into the kitchen, the sourdough starter was festering. The goo had ground. It was puddling on the counter. It was streaking down the cabinet doors and pooling on the floor. And I wiped it up, and as I tossed some of it into the garbage, the voice said, "Throw it out! Throw it out!" Oh, and I really wanted to, just toss it in the garbage. Let it make its way to the top of some mountain of trash where it could grow itself into the next great wonder of the world. But it had been around since the American Revolution. It had witnessed the inauguration of every American president, the birth of space exploration. Oh, and I knew in my heart, I knew in my soul, if I destroyed that sourdough starter, the ghosts of all those daughters of the American Revolution were going to come and haunt me the rest of my life. So I put the jar back on the counter and promised myself I'd make those biscuits in the morning. But life got in the way of my good intentions. The next morning, my youngest daughter spiked a temperature of 103. We spent most of the afternoon in the waiting room of the family clinic. We made it home in time for the afternoon thunderstorm that took out the electricity. We spent the evening collectively sweating by candlelight. And at 10 o'clock at night, when the power finally came back on, I tucked my kids into bed, I kissed them goodnight, and I went into the kitchen. The sourdough starter was festering. It was growing bubbles the size of walnuts that burbled and gurgled and splashed on the counter. And I looked at it and I thought, how did those women do it? Generation after generation, Sunday after Sunday, how did they get up and make those sourdough biscuits? Didn't they just once ever get up and go, I don't feel like making biscuits today. I lack the stamina of those valiant women. And I was also sick and tired of cleaning up goop. So I took that jar, I put it in a big, wide, deep plastic bin, and I took that bin and shoved it onto the floor of the guest bathroom, and I went to bed. In the morning, I procrastinated as long as possible. And then I finally got up the gumption to inspect the damage. But there was nothing there. Not a drop, not a slop, not a speck, not a splatter, not in the jar, not in the bin, not on the floor. And I thought, someone's gotten rid of it for me. Who would do that? My husband. And I went running across the house. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my darling. You have done for me what I couldn't do for myself. You have saved me from myself. And he looked at me. What are you talking about? The sourdough starter, it's gone. Didn't you get rid of it? No. And it was at that precise moment that I heard it. An eerie, mournful sound, and I thought, oh, they're here, the ghosts. The ghosts are here, I'm doomed. But just then, my big black Labrador retriever came rumbling into the room. His head was down. His tail was between his legs. His sides were distended. This noble creature, man's best friend, who often found the most despicable debris absolutely delectable, found the sourdough starter and licked up every last drop of it. Now, he was slowly, painfully making his way across the house, stopping every now and then. He's sniffing the air behind him. As if he could outdistance himself from those So I took a breath, and I gave him a hug. And then I patted him and I said, you're a good boy, you're a good doggy. And then I took him outside and left him on the patio to air out. And I never did have the nerve to tell Mary Louise Williams the fate of her sourdough starter. But ever since that time, I have been much more thoughtful about the responsibilities I accept into my life. And every once in a while, I actually do summon up the courage to say, no thank you.